Game. Continuing our discussion, we have here culturally competent nursing care. So what is culturally competent nursing care? I told you earlier that as a transcultural nurse, no, we have to be aware also of what is happening around the world, not just of the showbiz world or whatever na mga chika, no, kung sino man yung mga nagkakahiwalayan or something, but we also have to be aware of what is happening around the world. Did you know that in many parts of the world there is a growing awareness of social injustice? So what is social injustice ba? Social injustice for people from diverse backgrounds and the moral imperative to safeguard the civil and healthcare rights of vulnerable populations. We will be talking about vulnerable populations. Okay, yan. Okay lang tayo. So, social injustice. What is social injustice? Social injustice is also the way unjust actions are done in um, in the society. So, social injustice occurs in a situation where the equals are treated unequally and the unequal are treated equally. Okay. I have few pictures here sa susunod natin mga slides that are happening around the world. Number one, no, very recent lang ito, itong campaign na to na Black Lives Matter. If you have been watching the news or if you have been browsing the Facebook or the Instagram, meron pang hashtag niyan, di ba? Black Lives Matter because this was a woman, a black woman, for that matter, that she was assaulted because of her skin color. And after this campaign, there was also a recent campaign na ang nabago na to, hindi na siya black. Ano yung naging lumapit na sa atin, naging Asian Lives Matter. Why? There was an uprise, naging mataas or naging rampant yung hate naman towards Asian people. Hindi lang dahil sa pagtaas ng COVID cases, but because of this one, nagkaroon ng, actually I remember there was a news na there was a Filipino senior citizen na, a woman, Filipino woman, she was assaulted, physically assaulted, harassed because she was a Filipino, because she was an Asian. So nakita nyo, there is a ongoing social injustice. There is an ongoing na hatred towards vulnerable people. In some other parts of the world, there are also people who are in poverty, no? Hindi lahat ng bata ay nabibigyan ng pagkakataon na makakain ng 6 na beses sa isang araw or nagkakaroon ng merienda or siguro may access sa internet. Siguro before that, iisipin na lang muna nila bago sila magkaroon ng internet connection, kakain na lang muna, no? That is poverty in a sense of social injustice. And we also have this one, locally, nakikita din natin na very madalas din that there are protests against our government because of social injustice din or social status na hindi equal, no? Makikita dito, stop the killings. Maybe this one is a picture of yung before na mga protest against extrajudicial killing. So pinakita ko lang sa inyo yung pictures, no, of what is going around the world, at tatlong picture lang yan. Pero nakita nyo na maraming nangyayari sa buong mundo, right? And we also have here, I want you to look at the screen. This is a definition of vulnerable populations. So as I read the definition, meron ba kayong examples in mind na certain groups of people or certain communities who belong to vulnerable populations. So vulnerable populations are groups that are poorly integrated into the healthcare system, meaning they do not have access, they do not have the means, they do not have the transportation, they do not have the communication, no? Because of ethnic, cultural, economic, geographic, or health characteristics such as disabilities or multiple chronic conditions. Now, my question, do you have any idea sino kaya yung mga possible, no, mga examples? Sino ang pwedeng mga maging example ng mga tao belonging to vulnerable populations? Do you have someone in mind? Sorry, ayan. Meron kayong examples ng vulnerable population? Okay. Vulnerable population. Meron ba kayong naiisip na vulnerable people?
Yung mga mahihirap po, ma'am.
Yes, mga mahihirap. Pero let us be specific. Let us be specific, no? Let us be specific.
Buntis po, ma'am.
Yung mga, ma'am, ano po, yung geographically po, yung mga nasa squatters area.
Yes, no? May mga population na nasa squatter area. Sino pa? Sino pa nagsasalita kanina?
Ma'am, buntis po.
Tama, no? Pwede, no? Mga vulnerable sila, mga pregnant women. What else? Sino pa yung naiisip nyo ng mga elderly?
Seniors
Yes.
po.
Seniors, yes.
Mga seniors.
Tama, mga senior citizens, no? Hindi lahat ng program, although kino-consider natin, sinasabi natin na meron silang discount, pero hindi pa rin lahat ng institutions, hindi pa rin lahat ay kino-consider or nagtawag dito, hindi lahat ay ina-acknowledge yung kanilang hindi lahat ina-acknowledge yung ganong kanilang ano yung nasa isip ko, privilege, no? Hindi lahat ay merong binibigyan sila ng privilege na yun. Who else? Sino pa kayo ng mga nasa vulnerable populations? Aside
PWDs po.
PWDs, yes. Mga persons with disabilities. Dahil hindi lahat, for example na lang yung mga wheelchair lane, no? Hindi lahat merong access sa ganon. Kaya nga we have to be careful. Sino pa? I want you to...
Try lang po.
Sino? Yung
may po, ma'am, na mga sakit po na HIV, ganun.
True, no? Yung mga and also may nagsagot dito yung may mga mental health condition po, ma'am. Tama, no? Kasi hindi lahat ay aware at hindi lahat aware na mayroong pinagdadaanan pala yung tao na yon. So I want you to, the reason na pinag-iisip ko kayo, sino ba yung mga vulnerable population na to? Sino ba yung mga vulnerable people na to? Dahil there might be a time o there might be an occasion at a time na pwedeng matapat ikaw pala yung magiging nurse or ikaw pala yung magiging attendant nitong certain people na to. I hope, no, pag dumating yung time na yon, magkaroon ka ng sense na, wow, ito pala yung pinag-aaralan namin, mga vulnerable people. And I will be stepping up my game. Naalala nyo kanina, merong healthcare leadership, no? But you will step up your game and you will be a leader for that certain group of people. We have two words here. We have emigrate and we have immigrate. Emigrate is when you leave your country. Maybe you will be traveling to one country, no? But when you talk about immigrate is a word that means you are entering another country because you want to live there. Meron ka ng plano to settle down there for good. So kaya nga meron tayong immigrant, no, na status. That is what you call immigrant, no? People emigrate, ito yung pinagkaiba. People emigrate from one country or region and immigrate to a different. So immigrate, it means you are going, no? And because of that, before nurses can provide culturally competent care for individual clients or contribute to organizational cultural competence, they need to engage in a cultural self-assessment. That is why sa first time pa lang natin nag-meet, you remember, I gave you an activity agad, no? That you will be having a reflective journaling. And I also reminded you if ang gusto mong gawin ay 15 weeks na journal in one sitting, wag mo na lang gawin kasi nawala na yung, na-forfeit na yung purpose. Now, kung hindi mo nagawa yung mga nakaraan, ay di magdalawa kang reflection in a week kung hindi mo na nahabol. But I am asking a 15 weeks na journal. No? Because a transcultural nurse, ang isang tool mo for yourself is to be culturally aware, no? In a cultural self-assessment to identify their cultural baggage. What is cultural baggage? Cultural baggage refers to the tendency for a person's own culture to be foremost. Para tong meron ka ng bias, meron ka ng sariling judgment. Ay, kapag ganitong lahi, ganito yan eh. Ay, kapag ganitong religion, mga ganito yan. Ay, kapag ganito sila. Meron ka ng stereotyping na tinatawag. And that is a hindrance for us to give proper care. That is what we call cultural baggage. Now, nurses respond to global healthcare needs such as infectious disease epidemics and the growing trends in health tourism. We have another word for you to remember. What is health tourism? Health tourism is kapag hindi available yung services sa country natin, you have to go to another country to receive that care. For example na lang din, kapag tayo ay nasa province, no? Pag tayo ay nasa Cabanatuan or nasa Nueva Ecija, merong mga procedures na hindi available dito sa atin sa province. Now, the best hospital to go to is in Manila, right? Do you get me? So yun yung health tourism. You are going out of your country or out of your place because you have to attend to your medical or surgical healthcare needs. That is what we call health tourism. Kaya nga kung maalala nyo yung factors that contributed to the composition of transcultural nursing, isang factor doon yung migration. The reason that there is an uprise of traveling because people are traveling for their health, for health reason. That is what we call health tourism. Next, and last na tayo. Last na tayo dahil parang nantok na si Limin. Tok na Limin. Nurses, kawat lang. Nurses respond to natural and human-made disasters around the world and provide care for refugees. Ayan. Alam nyo ba na may mga tao that they have, pag sinabi kasing refugee, they have to go out of their country forcefully. Hindi yung pag-traveler kasi, gusto mo pang bumalik. Or parang nag-i-enjoy ka na nagta-travel. Ang pinagkaiba ng mga refugee, forcefully, kumbaga pinilit, wala silang choice, kundi umalis sa country nila at pumunta or maghanap ng ibang country na kukup sa kanila. Are you aware that there are many refugees around the world na hindi na sila pwedeng bumalik pa sa kanilang sarili nilang country? For example, are you aware na sa Myanmar, no? I remember kasi I had a classmate. She is from Myanmar. Tapos, sinabi niya na nung time na yun, nung kami ay nag-aaral, merong ongoing na political unrest sa kanilang country. And their president, hinuli president nila, tapos nagkakagulo at nag-take over yung military. Tapos sinusunog yung mga bahay, may mga tao pa doon. So imaginein mo, no, year 2020 na yon, meron pa rin palang mga ganon na nangyayari. And hindi natin alam yung mga nangyayari na to unless merong nag-i-speak up. That is why, nung merong candidate from Myanmar, remember nung Miss Universe last time, no? Merong Miss Myanmar, she used her platform to speak for her country. At that time, naging refugee na rin siya kasi hindi siya pwedeng bumalik na lang agad-agad sa kanyang country because there are tawag dito, there are political reasons. So yun yung sinasabi natin ng mga refugees. It might be that there will be a time na you will be catering your service to this kind of people. How would you take care of these people na meron palang mga pinagdadaan ng ganito, no? Going back to the goal of transcultural nursing, and I will end with this, no? Going back to the goal of transcultural nursing, ano ulit yung CCC? To provide culturally congruent care. Tanong, ang care ba na ibibigay mo sa isang VIP? Kunyari, may-ari ng kumpanya, may-ari ng SM, may-ari ng Toyota or whatever na malalaking kumpanya, may-ari ng Jollibee. Would it be the same care na ibibigay mo sa isang indigenous tribe? Magkapareha ba? Kung paano mo mag-care sa isang tao na to, sa isang ganito. Hindi naman eh. Gusto mo sana na equal ang treatment, right? Gusto mong equal ang treatment, gusto mong equal ang care, but the treatment that you will be catering your care, hindi siya equal. Kaya nga culturally congruent care, a care that fits, no? You will be customizing your care or your concern sa isang tao depende sa kanilang cultural or sa kanilang background, right? So that summarizes culturally competent nursing care. This is from chapter 2, and the composition of our prelim exam sa September 24, that is 1:30 to 2:30. I'll give you 1 hour kasi merong essay doon para makapag-isip kayo. Wag naman yung sasagot 2 sentences, no? Isipin nyo naman ng maayos. No? Maganda yung exercise ang inyong mga brain cells. So 50 items yon, and chapter 1 and chapter 2 ang magiging content ng ating prelim exam. Any questions, class? Antok na si Marty para makapagpahinga na siya. Meron bang question? Meron bang hindi nakasama sa attendance kanina? 33 kayo ngayon. Check ko nga.
Ma'am, ako po ata, ma'am. Yung galang.
Ma'am, ako din po
Ayun
ata.
po,
Hindi
ma'am.
po nasama. Ma'am, ako din po.
Sige.
ata.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Open naman kayo ng cam kung nandyan naman kayo. 1, 2, 3, smile. Nakahiga ka ba, Byron?
Yes po, ma'am.
Bakit?
Kakahiga ako lang po, ma'am.
Nakahiga mo lang. At least honest, ano? Yes, ma'am. Nakahiga ka ba? Nakahiga ka ba? Yes, ma'am. Ano talaga yan?
Ma'am, di po ako naka-uniform, ma'am. Kahapon po kasi nag-ret dem kami. Naiwan ko po kala AC Orac yung uniform ko, ma'am.
Hindi ko naman tinatanong kung naka-uniform ka o hindi. At tinatanong ko kung nakahiga ka.
Baka po kasi bawal po yung hindi naka-uniform sa inyo.
Ang bawal yung nakahubad. At least meron kang damit na umattend ng class ko. No?
Salamat po.
Okay, so page 2 okay naman na. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig. Kahit na antok na yung iba, nakikita ko antok na pero pinilit pa rin. Thank you, class, and I will see you next time. See you next week.
Thank you, ma'am.
Update ko na lang kayo. Salamat.
Sige po, ma'am.